James Comey is hitting the book circuit, and again, this bears repeating. I appreciate James Comey telling us these funny stories. I appreciate the fact that James Comey was investigating enough so that Donald Trump fired him. James Comey is not your friend. James Comey, I think, obviously, it's no secret that I feel that Hillary Clinton made many mistakes on her campaign. But aside from, if there's any externality that is implicated in Hillary Clinton's loss, that is not Donald Trump or the voters, it would be James Comey. And
apparently,
I think if people remember,
he acknowledges some of that in the book.
Yes, and not to toot my own horn, but
he
I was
acknowledges
reminded
your
on
reason. Yeah.
Well, he didn't cite it as my reason, but
he did. He said Jew
Ronald
and
Reagan,
former Sex and the City actor was right.
Ronald Reagan on Twitter reminded me that, and I guess someone pulled up the video, it was back in February of last year, of 2017, where I speculated that Comey may have just thought that Hillary Clinton was going to win, that it was unquestionable that she was going to win, and that because Donald Trump had already talked about prosecuting her, and that he was specifically, and he may at that time, obviously, when he talked about Clinton, he was fully aware that there was a serious investigation into Donald Trump. My speculation was that he felt like he needed to make sure that she was, that there was no question about the validity of her election, or that there was no question about the integrity of the investigation into her, so that her presidency would not be tainted. That didn't quite work out. And apparently he said he wrote something like that.
A little bit of a miscalculation there.
Missed it by that much. But here is, with all that said about James Comey as to why he is not someone you should be.
And not for nothing, he's a fucking cop. Like, he's not our friend. He's not the FBI is not a progressive force in the world.
That is true. That is absolutely.
I have a totally different opinion of that.
But here is James Comey on with George Stephanopoulos talking about the time that James Comey had to tell Donald Trump that there are reports that there is a P-tape.
Information.
How graphic did you get?
I think as graphic as I needed to be. I started to tell him about the allegation was that he had been involved with prostitutes in a hotel in Moscow in 2013 during a visit for the Miss Universe pageant, and that the Russians had filmed the episode. And he interrupted very defensively and started talking about it. Do I look like a guy who needs hookers? And I assumed he was asking that rhetorically. I didn't answer that, and I just moved on and explained, sir, I'm not saying that we credit this, I'm not saying we believe it. We just thought it very important that you know.
Did you tell him you thought it wasn't true, or you didn't know if it was true or not?
I never said I don't believe it, because I couldn't say one way or another.
How weird was that briefing?
Really weird. It was almost an out-of-body experience for me. I was floating above myself, looking down, saying, you're sitting here briefing the incoming president of the United States about prostitutes in Moscow.
Now, James, honestly, tell me, don't you think I'm like at least a 7?
You would say,
a
7? Kidding me? 7. Like, I'm a 9 at best. At worst. It's like, what is really amazing?
Not only is he, I don't know if he's the type of guy who would see prostitutes or, whatever, however you phrased it, needs prostitutes. I do feel like he's the type of guy that a good representative of a prostitute would say, take a pass on this one.
No, I think he's the type of guy the prostitute it's like literally a double negative, like pay double for me to touch you.
Right, exactly. Like, oh,
Like
you're
you're
gonna get
the quintessential guy. Like, yeah, you know that normal, like, I don't know, $1,000 an hour rate. That's 2 for you.
right. We're giving you the RNC convention has come to town rate.
Yeah. Oh, I see. She wants to. You know why she did that? And he still wouldn't get it. He'd be like, oh, she wants to do a deal with me. She wants to
Yeah.
negotiate, learn how to negotiate for me because I'm such a good negotiator.
That's unbelievable.
He also seems like the kind of guy you wouldn't even have to have sex with very long, if at all.
Right, right. I think, well, it could be just like, am I the type of guy who would pay to have sex with prostitutes as opposed to have them just pee on me? Who knows? But
He's
this
a
is-
virgin.
Yeah, wow. Now buying in some more buy-in to my original theory. I like this. That
Well, wait
Trump
a
has
second.
never had
How-
sex.
His
Haven't we
sexuality
already-
is completely outward
Trump, well,
facing.
if you listen to how
Wait,
Trump
he
talks.
just wants to seem like a playboy. He's
Have you-
never had sex.
Have you ever watched
But-
40-Year-Old Virgin?
No, but wait a second. Don't we know from Stormy Daniels that they had sex?
I mean, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. I'm sure he's had sex once or twice, but like not that much.
Stormy, I'm in you. Now it's
Stormy,
done.
you're my first time.
Stormy, oh my God, it's everything that I always pretended it was on Howard.
It's mostly like coffee, so that I can brag about it later.
Like the main thing is getting
I-
to brag about it to other
I
guys.
don't-
I haven't been able to get an erection since I was 12, but when you spanked me and I said you reminded me of my daughter, it finally happened. Oh my God, that was the most transcendent 30 seconds of my life.
Perfect
All right,
client.
well, this is. We're really going the full high-low gamut on today's show, but I mean, it's not. What are you going to do?
What else you gonna? You know what I also?
Casual Friday, for
country.
Christ's sake.
Yeah, dude, it's casual
Gotta be
Friday.
a little casual after
Yeah.
all those interviews.
Yeah.
Jamie, I'll tell you something. I leave the office, and you're just like you start swearing like a sailor.
Oh, yes, I started.
I really like those. Who's
Well,
the?
okay.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling very casual today.
Yeah, it's
I'm
You know what I?
casual.
You know
I'm
what's
wearing
am-
colors for the first
feel like
time in
you
a
guys have
while.
probably
It's made
already
me very
started-
bold.
You know what's amazing about Trump, though, is that he really does. Like, we've stipulated all the things we have to. I always would mention the Muslim entrapment cases with Comey, obviously, but like, he really does have an uncanny ability from everybody from Tillerson to Comey to just be like, well, I guess there is another dividing line, which is like
Right.
Donald Trump versus any sort of quasi-sentient normal human being.
Right.
And then
He has, like, a
you just
Midas
automatically relate to other people in conversation relative to him because Comey's like,
Right.
yeah, that was weird. It was like staring into the void.
Yeah, that's why Comey's been spending like 4 months with Reinhold Niebuhr.
It's like, I need to quit and read theology after 1 hour meeting with this guy.
But the I don't know. There was portions of this book that maybe we'll get to more on Monday as they get more released. But there was one where I read where Comey, was almost brought to tears because Barack Obama said, "I think you're a man of integrity," something to that
Oh,
effect. Like I
God.
just.
That's
I
nauseating.
mean, these guys. There's like a certain amount of cosplay involved in this. I guess I don't know.
Oh, it totally is
but
cosplay.
I don't. I mean, on one level, like, look, he screwed up in a big, big way by breaking policy, DOJ policy, and in releasing that letter about Clinton. And I guess, I don't want to be too cynical about somebody who, at the very least, thought they were doing the right thing, because I suspect that in a lot of circles around the White House now, there are people who are just consciously aware of like, I'm not doing the right thing, but I'm going to make some money off it. So,
But probably be unemployable. You, Obama, like,
But-
hey, you messed up, but you definitely put that Chechen kid with Down syndrome in jail, so you're a man of integrity, James.
right, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm not going to judge you based upon the actual work you've done, just on the way that you come to me as a man and look me in the eye.